Don't question, just do. Welcome back to another video where we've been learning all about being consistent, how consistency can get you moving in that right direction. How to be more consistent in your life takes time. You don't just figure it out overnight. We've outlined several steps that can help you get to where you're going. However, it takes time to implement and you need to be patient. We start with the limitations, and from the limitations, we look at what we need to grow, how we need to grow it, how to put that into a plan, and then keep our expectations at a level where we won't disappoint ourselves when we don't necessarily always achieve that expected outcome. And then we're accountable, and through this accountability, we're able to look at it and say, hey, I didn't achieve, or hey, I did achieve. Now where do we go from here? How do we make those small changes that will get us to where we need to be? And don't question, and this is a critical point, don't question what you're doing after you've made the decision. You've done it, you've made a decision. At that moment, you are making a logical decision. As you go through this process, you are making a logical decision. Do not allow emotions to get in the way. I want to address this idea because a lot of the times we forget, because emotions come into play, why we're doing what we're doing, and then instead of moving steadfast on where we need to do, we start making excuses and we start to move the opposite direction of where we wanted to be. So how does this look, and how does this make sense so that we can really apply it to our daily lives? Well, firstly, we need to address this idea of accountability. We need to address this idea of going through this process. It's being realistic, and in order to be realistic, we need to look at this from a non-emotional side of things. We need to take our emotions out, and we need to look at things from a logical sense. When we're making our list of things we want to improve, well, we need to sit down and really put it into perspective of logic. What is the reality of my limitations? Can I do what I want to do overnight, or will it take time? A great example of this is when people go on a diet and they think they're going to lose a lot of weight pretty much overnight, and it's not the case. They cut cold turkey. I've said this before in previous videos, and then their expectation is so high it kind of falls apart. And the reality is it falls apart because as time goes on, emotions get involved, and the emotion goes, hey, don't worry, you've been doing good, have that cookie. Hey, don't worry, you're doing good, you're not seeing the results. Eventually, if you keep going, you'll see them. So don't worry, have that cookie today, you'll be fine. You just For my favorite, you know what? I haven't seen any results. I gotta change up, so I'll start up again next week. Let me just eat bad for the next week, and then I'll get back on it. I think we've all been in all three scenarios. You too? Yeah. Once we know we are realistic and we're on the right path, and we say, hey, kind of like in the previous example, I'm gonna take 4 months of this diet and gradually take out things out of that diet, and then go work out for maybe once a week, twice a week, and increase the levels of how we're moving over the next month to 2 months. In those last 2 months, we're going to be looking at it and saying, hey, now we are on the right path. And when those ideas come in that, hey, it's not working out, it's this or that, and the emotions are there, we're going to say, no, this is logic that we made the decision on. Step away emotion. We need to do this for another 2 months, and we're not gonna lose scope of that. Moving in this direction, you will find that your integrity will take over. Your motivation for sticking to integrity will grow, and of course accountability will come into play, where you're feeling like you own this, you're in charge, and you know what you're doing. So even when the emotions come in, even when somebody's going, well, I haven't seen that many results, even when this or that, you'll know you're doing the right thing because you did this at a time when logic was at play, not when emotions were at play. And even if emotions were really, really, part of the equation, it kind of pushed them out, but they were still there. If your expectations are kept at a relatively reasonable area and your limitations are more on a realistic side of what you can and cannot do, gradually when you do those accountability checks, you'll find that even if you're in an emotional state and you break once or twice, you'll come back to and that integrity will kick in and you'll start making more right decisions at the right time. My name is Nikos Rentas. This is MentorsApproach.com. Hit that like button if you like what you see. Of course, hit the subscribe button to get your daily motivational idea to get you moving in the right direction. And of course, leave your comment below. Leave your story. Because who knows, somebody might be reading your comment based on this topic and your opinion might help change a life.